Yeah, you read the title of the video. Another one is gone. Okay, let's talk about it. Evil Dead, the game, is another horror asymmetrical multiplayer game, this time developed by Saber Interactive. And I have some very, very choice words to say about this game, but let's get some of the good things out of the way first. Evil Dead was such a genuine blast to play, so much so that I even made a video about it a couple months back. I really loved it. This game gave me a lot of memories back to like Resident Evil Resistance, in the way that in most asym games, when you play the single player role, you're playing a big baddie that's like storming the map and chasing down the bad guys. But in both Evil Dead and Resident Evil Resistance, you're more playing an omnipotent being, someone who controls the entire map, someone who has the balance of the game in their hands, lays traps, sets things up, is just kind of controlling everything around the players, and can every now and then jump in, take over an individual character, and wreak some havoc. But it's not just one thing you're playing. You're kind of playing a management sim. You're controlling a lot at the same time, and I really enjoyed that style of asymmetrical game. It was really cool. The game was a fucking blast, and as a lifelong fan of Evil Dead, I was just kind of bound to love the game. A lot of the actors from the TV show and the movies voiced their characters in the game, and that was really special. There was so much voice acting, so much character, so much just fun, silly Evil Dead humor, and a gameplay loop that was genuinely really fun. It could use some tweaks that the developers just never did, but at its release, it was something really, really special. But that was at release. You see, on September 19th, Saber Interactive released the dreaded Twitter JPEG of death. Let me read this to you real quick. To the Evil Dead, the game community. Today, we have made the decision not to pursue the development of new content for Evil Dead the game. We also confirm that we will not be releasing a Nintendo Switch version of the game. We will keep the servers up for the foreseeable future and address any major issues that arise. On behalf of the entire team at Saber, thank you for all the groovy times and your continued support. So, look, here's the thing. A lot of people already knew that the Nintendo Switch version of the game was kind of botched. It wasn't really gonna happen, but they didn't even get it out the fucking door before they canceled the game. That was... Okay, I have some serious choice words. This is going to be a rather unhappy Jaden video. I don't like to make these, man, but I'm just... Let's start at the very beginning, okay? Evil Dead was an Epic exclusive at launch. Why? I don't like the Epic Store, all right? And I understand that a lot of companies need to be Epic exclusives because they get rights and they get more money, and it's just very, very helpful. But for a multiplayer game, that is just a fucking nail in the coffin. The game had cross-play on PS and PlayStation and Xbox, and like, thank God that we could all play together, because if this game was just the Epic Games community, it would have been fucked. But that was on release. The game did eventually come to Steam in April. In like 4 months before they fucking killed the game. What? I really think that they were expecting to bring the game over to Steam because they brought it over with a new killer, a big patch, and they were like, hey, everyone come play our game. But they didn't advertise it anywhere. And the game was in such a disastrous state that when they did all that, it doesn't matter. By the time the game came to Steam, no one cares. And then you announce that you're not doing anything else with the game? You haven't done anything with the game since April, so why? Well, it doesn't matter at this point. When it did finally come to Steam, it came with cross-play, obviously, so that you could play with the Epic Game Store and PlayStation and Xbox, but it did not come with cross-progression. So if you bought it on Epic and you had sunk dozens of hours into it on Epic, well, that's a good investment for Epic because you can't fucking leave unless you want to start all of your progression over again on Steam, which you do not want to do because of the absolutely terrible prestige system, which we'll get to. Because if you start over, you come in as a new player, you are put at a significant disadvantage with all of the other people playing. And so no one wants to leave Epic to go play on Steam, even though everyone would rather be playing the game on Steam. Ah! On top of all of that, when the game first released as an Epic exclusive, it came with a season pass that was supposed to have 3 different drops to it. I bought the season pass. It was one of the most inconsistent, terrible fucking season passes I have ever seen in my life. It wasn't like, yeah, okay, you're gonna get a new killer and a new survivor every 3 months or something. It was like, here's 3 new survivors and a couple cosmetics. And then the next one was like, okay, here's a couple of cosmetics. And the next one was like, okay, here's a survivor and no cosmetics. And it's like, how does your season pass have no consistency to it? Just release these as like packs, which they did do eventually after the season pass. They were like, okay, this didn't really work for us, so we're just gonna start releasing packs of content that you can buy and just get stuff, which is fine. And it must have been like a rights issue. They couldn't really do what they wanted, or they're just terrible with time management and they just couldn't make what they wanted to on the time frame the season pass had set for them. But the season pass was just downright terrible. I don't like being this negative, man, but it just kind of sucked to spend that money on a season pass and then just get nothing out of it. And then several months into the lifespan of the game, Saber released Splatter Royale mode for some reason, which was an Evil Dead Battle Royale mode, which I talked about in my video. I thought it was fun at first, but the more you play it, the worse it got because of several factors. You see, not only did Splatter Royale completely fracture the community, where one half was trying to play the standard mode and the other half was trying to play Splatter Royale, and then it got to a point where no one played Splatter Royale because they were all playing the normal game mode. Well, you also had to split the experience you earned. All of your blood points that you needed to like upgrade and like make your fucking build, well, you had to split them between Splatter Royale and the standard game mode. And no one was gonna fucking drop points into Splatter Royale because everyone was playing the main game mode. That's what people wanted to play, and yet the community was hankering for like a swarm, like a cooperative swarm mode where you're just fighting against AI and you're trying to do stuff and it's just swarms of deadites and bosses at you. That could have been really fucking cool, but instead we got a battle royale mode that split the community, split progression, and then was left abandoned because no one wanted to play it. And then there's the fact that survivors got tons and tons of new characters. They got the 2013 remake characters. They had extra like Army of Darkness and the Ash vs. Evil Dead characters. So much fun stuff was added to the survivor side, and then Demons just got 2 new characters. The Plaguebringer and Ball. I think his name was Trickster or something. I don't fucking know. But the thing that's really weird is that Ball was leaked at the game's release, but did not come out until April when the game came to Steam. Ball was a demon that the community had been hankering for since release. He's like the big baddie of Ash vs. Evil Dead. We already had Elagos on release, so why didn't we have Ball? He was leaked. He was in the game. Was it a rights issue? Like, did they not get were they just trying to figure out if they could use the actor's likeness and voice? Like, what was the problem? Communicate, Saber. You knew that this leak had happened, and you did not tell us why it took a year for Ball to release. And when he released, he was fun, but the game was dead! And the absolutely horrendous prestige system. Prestige systems that benefit progression are terrible for the community, because this prestige system had some busted character perks locked behind it that you just had to grind for. And so let's say you're a new player. No, fuck it, you're not even a new player. You're just old schmo who came home after work. You're a big Evil Dead fan. You want to hop online. You're going to play the new Ball, and you just want to enjoy Evil Dead the game and have a little bit of fun. Well, you're going to queue up with 4 sweat survivors that all have max prestige characters, and they're gonna fucking wipe the floor with you because they've spent 100 hours grinding the prestige system to get these fucking perks while you were not doing that. Not to say that like progression is bad for a game, a little bit of healthy progression is fine, but the grind on this fucking prestige system was horrendous. You were grinding and grinding dozens of hours to finish the prestige for one character. And on a completely side note, how does DBD have the better Ashy Slashy cosmetic? He's actually a puppet in DBD, and he's voice acted. You had the actors from the TV show voicing characters in your game. Why was Ashy Slashy not voiced? I should probably mention the elephant in the room. Saber Interactive are the same people that made the World War Z game a few years back. And recently, they announced that they got their hands on a pretty lucrative IP, and they are developing a new game in that IP. You may have heard of it. It's Warhammer Space Marine 2. And it started to worry me when I would watch a dev stream on Evil Dead the game, and the dev team was just rambling about nothing. They were not reassuring the community that the game was in good hands. They were they were not very good live streams. But they were just shoving 40K like Space Marine 2 down your throat. Just like, no, do you know this game's coming out? We know you're here for Evil Dead, but what about Space Marine? Space Marine! Space Marine!
Jingle, jingle, pay attention. Pay attention. I said your favorite word. The back rooms. Okay, the back rooms. Dingle, dangle, dingle, dangle.
Because that's what the devs were doing. They were just jingling keys in front of your face like, but Space Marine 2, and you know, it was really disheartening, and I stopped watching the dev streams after a while. Like, I was just getting really irritated, and it's been a hot second since I've played the game. Like, once Ball released, I played it for a little bit, and I just haven't gone back. And it's heartbreaking. But the problem is that 40K Space Marine 2 just looks incredible, right? It looks really good. They brought what they learned from the dense crowd generation from World War Z into Space Marine. The absolute war-torn scenes in that game look awesome. But y'all, you guys left your other game to fucking die and rot. Like, you tried to make a profitable multiplayer experience, and that's fine. Multiplayer games need to make money, sell cosmetics, but you guys had the worst user experience I've ever had with a multiplayer game like this. You guys didn't even have like a shop to buy things. You had to buy everything externally through Epic. People didn't even know there were DLC packs for this game. No joke, when Ball dropped, I had people asking me like, how you played Ball? Because no one knew. You guys did a terrible job advertising. You did a terrible job telling people how to get the character, that he was even a DLC character, not just like an expansion for the game. The game came to Steam, you were trying to get all these people, and no one fucking cared. I'm sorry, I am so exhausted. I love this genre of game. I just want one to work, to do well, to treat its community well. Guys, I have so much fucking time in Dead by Daylight, and I never, ever want to go back. What happened? What is going on? Evolve, Resident Evil Resistance, last year, VHS, Evil Dead the game. I really, really hope that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre works. I hope that the fucking Killer Clowns game turns out well. I'm not a game developer. I don't know the intricacies of building a multiplayer game, but every multiplayer game I have ever loved has died. The only one that has gotten better and is currently thriving better than it ever has is Hunt Showdown. Cutethlhu, take us out.